Is Canada moving in the right direction?
Canada's wandering in the right direction. It's sort of stumbling in the right direction, but it in many ways. But I think it's just not as effective as it should be. So generally, yes, but we kind of do ourselves in because we sort of half commit, and we need to take a stronger stand on some of those things.
I think as a country, yeah, we have to do something. There's concessions we all have to make. It's a big country, costs a lot to run it. So I think we're doing all right.
We're doing a lot better than other countries, and I think we take 2 steps in the right direction, and then when things look like they're getting better, we take 2 steps back. Do you know what I mean? We might be moving ahead a bit, but we're going back a bit too. And then we move ahead a bit, and then we go back a bit.
Yes. I'd like to see us moving further and faster. We're moving better now than we have been for the last 15 years. But still, I think I'd like it to be going further and faster.
And if we stopped expecting that everything should be cheap and started reinvesting in our own local capacity to manufacture and produce goods and services, we would not only break a cycle of dependency on foreign economies, but also build jobs and opportunities and hope for young people.
I generally think that the country is going in the right direction. I mean, it's very difficult right now. I feel for the government just for the fact that, you know, they're having to spend money they never intended to just to try to keep the country afloat. But honestly, when I compare it to what other countries have been going through, yeah, I think we're doing pretty well, all things considered.
Well, as an Indigenous person and as we're distracted by COVID. We got bigger concerns than a plague right now. You know, plague should be secondary. Our very status as a decent country is at stake, and perhaps our name should be stripped off the list of civilized nations. We're doing terribly.
In terms of climate, I don't think so, no. Because I think one of the biggest things that you guys can do is to move away from fossil fuels for electricity generation, and the other thing is that I think you can somehow tweak your urban planning so that everything's not so dependent on cars. I think that not only would help with the whole climate situation, but it would also help with like public health and sort of related issues. Yeah.
That's a great answer. Did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I totally agree with his take on climate change. I definitely think Canada could be doing a bit more. And I think probably in terms of the COVID response, I feel like Canada could have acted a bit faster to kind of prevent it from growing to the magnitude that it has been over the past year or so.
And it doesn't seem like we're making too many advances, even with our Indigenous population. A lot of that has been forgotten already, and that just happened. I mean, we're standing right here. And so, no, I don't think. I think we need strong leaders, and we don't have that right now on every level of politics.
Absolutely not. I see a lot of rhetoric on the part of our national politicians, and frankly, in many ways, as I travel the world, at one time to be a proud Canadian, I'm a somewhat embarrassed Canadian with respect to the leadership, so-called leadership of this country, and in my opinion, the terrible job they have done.
Yes, but we still have a long way to go. I personally think we should adopt more of a socialism system, where everybody kind of has access to the same things.
I like to think I'm hopeful about that. I like to think that we are headed in the right direction. Do we have the right people doing that? I'm not honestly sure, but I am hopeful.
I think all of us have negative feelings about most politicians, but I deal a lot with Americans, and I look at what's going on in their politics, and I think we're pretty fortunate actually to have a pretty moderate group of people, Canadians are, and we are liberal, small L, not capital L, but I think we're more in this as a society than a lot of Americans are. So I think we'll always have challenges with politicians, but I think we're kind of on the right track.
Nothing is done for climate change. We're exactly in the same spot we were 6 years ago. Nothing is done. And if we don't smarten up, we won't be around in 8 years or whatever, 10 years, because it's going fast. It's going far too fast now.